All right, we'll start with a couple questions in the room, then we'll throw it to you, Dave.
Hey, Jason. Just wanted to ask you about the thought process behind a couple of the late game decisions. First, there's a timeout right after I guess it's the last defensive stop with 27. It looked like looks like everybody was immediately calling for a timeout.
Yeah.
What was the thought process on that one?
To get JB back in the game, we had him out. So.
Right. Okay. And then was it always the design KP post up on the following play?
No, that was secondary. We wanted to get the switch. It just took too long to get the red, and then KP entered the post, and he was up against the shot clock, and that was just a tough shot. We put him in a tough situation.
And then the foul to give, which was Dorian's sixth, was the thinking that it wasn't going to go into Dorian's man, or was that just going to be a casualty in case it?
Yeah, that was a casualty. We talked about taking the foul when it first got in, and so we did. We saw what they were running. They didn't have the opportunity to take a timeout, and then they just, Fox makes a heck of a play.
Did you have a chance to see the final play again? What did you make of the defense?
Yeah, it's tough. DP was going to help. He thought Frank might have been beat, but unfortunately, if we give up a layup, the game is tied. We're going to overtime. But DP went to help, and they made a shot.
Okay, go ahead, Zoom, Dave. Thanks.
Got anything on Zoom, guys? No hands raised yet.
Well, what do you think of Isaiah Sidney?
I thought he did great. To come from home to come and help us put us in a position to win, I thought he was really good.
Welcome to Dallas. I don't. They usually say that to new players.
Yeah.
I don't know if that works in this context. But just take us through what today was like.
Man, it's crazy because I was at Fred Meyer this morning getting some groceries, and Nico had called me, and the first thing he was asking me is like, "You think you could play tonight?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I could play tonight." So I was in Seattle. I was back home. I just actually got home from LA yesterday. So it's been a lot, but I'm built for this. I'm ready for it. I'm thankful for the opportunity, and it was a no-brainer when he asked.
So you knew going in that you were going to get playing time, and was it like?
I mean, they told me just to be ready. They told me, and J Kidd and then Nico had told me just be myself. No, with every sense of the word, just be who I am and bring that to the team. And I'm always ready. So I didn't know if I was going to play. I didn't know if I was going to play a lot or a little bit, but me being a professional for 11 years, I'm just, I'm accustomed to staying ready, and that's all I did tonight.
How much did you have to study the playbook? I know it's all the same sets of play.
I had to study a little bit on the way here. I got the playbook when I was on the plane, so I was able to study, but they kept it simple for me. I mean, it's just the terminology that's different. Team to team, everybody kind of runs the same, the same set. So the terminology was different, but coach kept it simple while I was out there and just made it easy for me.
All right, we'll move to Zoom, Dave.
Cool. Hey, Isaiah, this is Dave from PR. We're going to start with Eddie Sefko from Mavs.com.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, sir. Jalen was in earlier and said that doesn't seem like that would be a person that was in your generation. How did you get to know him and get that connection?
His dad. You talking about Brunson?
Yeah. Hey, Eddie, you broke up a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah, I asked about Rick.
Oh, so I met Rick. I might have been at a high school All-American basketball camp that he was at. I think it was NBA camp maybe. I was maybe in the 8th or 9th grade. So I've known Rick for a minute, and it's crazy you said something because his son after the game was like, "My dad said what's up. Make sure to tell him, he said what's up." So I go back. Shoot, I'm 32 years old now. 8th grade, I was probably 13, 14. So I'm a fan of the game of basketball. So I know who Rick Brunson is, but I also got to build a relationship with him for a few weeks over the time of a basketball camp, and he's been nothing but, you know, a plus for me, a mentor for me. Even, you know, my earlier years in the NBA, he was assistant coach in the NBA. So somebody that always, you know, was in my corner and always gave me the best advice ever. So I'm just thankful to be able to be around a long time to take all that advice that he's given me and just try to utilize it in my career.
All right, next up, we've got Landon Buford. He's from landonbuford.com.
What's going on, IT? You and Jamal Crawford have been talking about, you know, what you could bring on social media all summer, but what do you feel that you can bring to this team for leadership purposes and just like mentorship?
I mean, I could bring everything. I've been in every situation possible in the NBA. I don't know how many players in the NBA can, you know, honestly say they've been in every situation, whether that's the franchise player, whether that's a 6-man role, whether that's a role player off the bench or a guy that doesn't even play. You know, I've seen it all. So I'm able to, you know, give that experience back to the younger guys and the guys on this team. So, you know, whenever I can, I'm always able to lend a helping hand and give some wisdom, you know, just from experience though, which is important in today's game, is just, you know, giving back any way I can and trying to help the next guy. And that's all I'm here for, is you know, when my name's called, be ready to produce, but also, you know, just lead by example and lead vocally as well.
All right, we've got one from Kelly Kaplan of the Dallas Morning News.
Hey, Isaiah, I'm curious, did you know, besides Rick Brunson, did you know anybody on the team before you got here this afternoon? And what were the conversations like with the guys and with the staff, you know, in breaks and play and whatnot, when they were trying to get you up to speed and trying to make sure everybody was on the same page?
I mean, I've competed with most of these guys. I mean, against most of these guys. There's guys on the coaching staff that I'm familiar with. I got coached by a few of them in Sacramento when I was here. So I'm familiar with the coaching staff, familiar with, you know, most of the players. Obviously, some of the names is guys that I didn't know before I came here, but, you know, the respect level, that's what it's about when you're at this level. Everybody respects everybody and everybody's a professional. So, you know, I try to bring my energy to the locker room. I try to bring my positive mentality to the locker room and help any way I possibly can.
HAV, what was your assessment of the final offensive possession that you guys had where it got to KP?
I think we kind of just got into it a little slow. I probably should have started in the middle of the floor. I mean, I was kind of the ball was tipped. KP didn't get a clean catch. Just it could have went a little smoother, a little better. But I mean, yeah, that's really it. So what you see is what I saw too.
Yeah. Did you feel like that happened kind of throughout the final 5 minutes that the offense just lagged down a little?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. We had some opportunities where we could have cleaned things up, and yeah, we could have been a lot smoother, and but it's all right. I mean, our defense gave us a chance to win the game, and we got to tip the hat off to Metu.
Go ahead with Zoom, Dave.
Okay, we've got one from Eddie.
Hey, Jalen, did you get much of a chance beforehand to talk to Isaiah? And what did you think of him after a whirlwind day coming in and doing what he did?
I didn't really talk to him before the game. I mean, I said what's up throughout the game. We were talking a lot of basketball, a lot of stuff. I mean, just after the game, I just went up to him and said, yeah, my dad just really says what's up, man, and just praying for you and hopes for the best. And he knows my dad, so I kind of have that connection with him there. But I mean, like I said before, I mean, these past couple of times about these players coming in on these hardship deals, and it's a tough thing to do, and especially what he did today. I mean, it's not easy at all, no matter what profession you're in, to fly in and pretty much go straight to work. And so I applaud him. I mean, everyone applauds him. The fan base here, they love him. He's one of those players that wherever he goes, he's going to get a lot of love just because of how hard he plays and the dedication to basketball that he puts in. And so he deserves all the praise and all the love that he gets everywhere he goes.
All right, Kelly, go ahead.
Hey, Jalen, for those of us on the outside, how would you describe what it's like to go through these last 2 weeks, as a player who has been available, but every morning you wake up, but every afternoon you get the news of who might be available, who might not, how would you kind of explain what that just sheer uncertainty has been like to work through?
It's last year all over again. I want to say thank the Lord I've been through this before, but I mean also it's kind of has its pros and cons. It's uncertainty, but you just gotta just keep moving forward. Hope for the best. Try and do everything you can, and even if you do everything you can, you still might not be or might catch it or whatever, and might not. It's just, I mean, I don't know. This whole couple weeks has been a whirlwind. So we gotta get through it somehow, and we will, and we're gonna keep moving forward.
What did you see happen on the last offensive possession?
DB helped. I think maybe we could have been a little bit less aggressive with Fox, knowing how quick he is, and then DB went in to help and just didn't. Maybe the next rotation should have been there a little bit earlier or be there. But those are things that can't really blame the guys. Everybody went 100 miles an hour in that last play, so it's a tough loss. Didn't have our best game, but I think we should be happy with what we're doing. We obviously have moments, like every team have moments where we're not playing good and this and that, but at the end we have to look at if we show up, and we show up every night. Our defense shows up for the most part, and yeah, we have great coaching staff around us that are giving us the answers. And I think as the year is going on, we're getting better. The connection is getting better, and we're executing what we're asked for. This one's on us, on the players. I could have played much better. I know Doe is frustrated. He's foul trouble. So not our best performance, and that's on us, and we take full responsibility. And what we got to do is take this loss, take this feeling, this feeling that sucks, take it and use it as fuel for next game.
I feel like you answered just like 5 questions right there.
Yeah, just kind of started going, and
I did want to ask what happened on the final shot you guys took that you took. Was that always the plan? Was the ball supposed to go to you sooner? I mean, in hindsight, it's easy to say that.
Yeah, no, it was random. It was I don't remember what was the play call, but what I saw from my perspective, and maybe I should have let JB just go to work. What I saw is we didn't have anything. We had 3-4 seconds left, and just kind of went into the post. I knew I was going to be able to get a shot off, and yeah, just went in there. And if I had a pretty decent position, I looked at the tape. I think if Fox doesn't get his hands on the ball a little bit and kind of makes me go out, and I fumbled it for a second and then went up into the shot, I think I would have got a pretty good look. I would have been able to shoot over Barnes. But yeah, hats off to them. They stayed in the game when we made our runs, and they competed hard also, and you get rewarded for that. Huge big shot that Metu hit. Yeah.
All right, moving to Zoom day.
Yeah, Kelly, go ahead.
KP with another 10-day COVID replacement guy coming in. How much did you get to talk to Isaiah Thomas before the game, or did he really get to talk to any of you guys before the game? And just what have you thought about, his process of joining the team and you guys having to integrate another player on the fly?
Yeah, I talked to him a little bit before the game and throughout the game, and he's a vet of the game, and he was making reads, jumping in on the team today, and making reads, and he looked good out there, I thought. Yeah, he's an experienced player. He knows this game, and I think he gave us a little bit of spark today, and yeah, we'll see going forward. But it's good to have somebody that's so experienced on the team.
Hey, Christos.
Hello, Kristaps. Hope you're doing well. Obviously, the outcome was tough for you guys, but what would you like to keep from tonight's game and maintain or improve on the next games?
Yeah, I think our as I said, our effort and our defensive mindset. You know, we allowed them to score 95. Should have been 92 if they don't hit that last three. So that's pretty good for to be able to hold the NBA team to that amount of points. Just our offense could have been. I thought we started off really in a good rhythm, moving the ball, hitting some open shots, and then we kind of staggered some moments a little bit. I think if we kept playing longer that way, going into all the actions quicker, executing a bit better, setting a better screen here, there, little things like that, we could have kept that momentum and that offensive rhythm for a longer time and created more of a separation, I believe. So, but competed hard, didn't get the win. As I said, use this feeling to fuel for tomorrow and the day after.